You see? You know, that's why I love teaching. Give me a marker and I am the owner of the world. Because you play by heart. You can never apply the same method with every single student. Yeah? And you say, so repeat, wife.
Wife.
Who? Do you want a coffee break right now? Wife.
Wife.
Much better. So she is my wife. One more word. Brothers. Luis Perez, Juan Perez, they are brothers. Yes? How do you say hermano in English? Ni idea, brother. That is the internal sense of language. So, you see, brothers. No problem? Repeat. Wife.
Wife.
Brother.
Brother.
Very good. Two members of the family. Of course, yeah. Father, mother, sister, brother, wife, husband. That cutie right there, her name is Victoria. She's my daughter. Okay? Así dice la ella. Okay? So, pay attention to that. We have wife and brother. When you hear the word wife, I want you to clap once. Yes? So, let's see. Vanessa is my wife. In unison, please. I love my wife. Husband and wife. Ya ves, mi amor, te dije que si te menciono y no se me mal. Okay? So, I love my wife? Good. What am I doing? What I am doing is playing with the level of challenge of my activity. Yes? Instead of just playing, asking if you finished and correcting, playing again, asking if you finished and correcting, what I'm doing is adapting it to all the levels of my students in the classroom. Because in the perfect world, all my students from 8th grade are in level A2. But the world ain't perfect. Yeah? So I need to play. What am I doing? Something very simple. I am playing with the challenge with the level of challenge, and I am taking it to the very lowest level, so that it helps everybody in my class. It's like this. When you hear the word wife, I want you to clap. Remember?
Track 0.6. Conversation 5. Ah, this is a nice photo. This is my wife and my dad.
Now you know what happens in the classroom. That student right there, again with all my respect, that student, she hears wife and she's like, no soy tan tonto como me hicieron creer. And that's very important. First, talk about self-esteem. First, talk about self-confidence. First, talk about emotional intelligence, emotional stability, and then learning is easy. So that student feels now the first time in my life that I do, she's saying that to herself in Spanish, of course. Yeah? She's probably saying, primera vez, she's saying, first time in my life that I follow an instruction and I do things right without anybody's help. Without saying, "Give me hope." First time. That's where motivation starts. Am I teaching English now? No. But yes. I don't know if I'm making myself clear. Yeah? And now she's about to get engaged. She's about to start getting into the flow. And she says, "Ya, pues otra." And of course, I'll say, "Okay, now, when you hear the word brother," remember, brother, I want you to stand up and sit down. Yes? This is perfect for Friday 12-ish, last hours of classes, when students don't want to study, they only want to go home because they hate the school, they hate English, they hate the book, they hate you. I didn't want to say it, but sorry. They don't love it. The presents for Teachers' Day are for points. I see people posting, "Thank you, Miss Chicos." And I'm like, yeah, they love you. When you hear the word brother, I want you to stand up and sit down. Yeah? What are you doing? You're combining the flow theory with TPR. You see? English is beautiful.
Track 0.6. Conversation 5. Ah, this is a nice photo. This is my wife and her dad.
And my student, she was sitting down and she was like, "Brother, brother." She hears the word brother and she's like, "Ay." The motivation continues. You see? Am I teaching English? No, but I am. Am I teaching English? Yes. Because as a teacher, the first thing that I have to do is be responsible for the human being that is under my care. That's the problem. In the teaching and learning process, we have two stakeholders. On one side, we have the teacher that sees the students as a means to make a salary. And we make a salary, and I have to teach, and you have to do what I say, and I'm teaching. And that's it. On the other side of the classroom, we have the student that thinks that the teacher has to be perfect. If they see the teacher on the weekend having a beer, they're like, "Oh." Yes or no? Am I lying? We never think about a human being. We teachers can have a bad day. We have debts to pay. We have things to do. But students can also have a bad day. When we start thinking about that side of the story, a bit more, things are going to be very different. And I can continue. I can say, now, ignore the word wife. No wife. Only brother. When you hear the word brother, I want you to clap 3 times. Yes? Clap 3 times. A veces no funciona la teoría. Clap 3 times. Fantastic. Only with the word brother. No more. She hacked it. Good.
Track 0.6. Conversation 5. Ah, this is a nice photo. This is my wife and her brother.
No worries. Doesn't have to be perfect. But it is much better. You know what happened? That student that's always sitting at the corner, that's always sitting in the back, that's always trying to hide from the teacher. When the teacher says, "Who wants to talk?" that student is like, for the first time, that student shows a bit of interest. That's where motivation starts. That's where we can say, oh, yes. That student that has a very low level, I'm saying, okay, wait for me. I'm taking my activity down, down, down to the bottom, and we can meet here and we start. We start a process of, I challenge you, you do it, I challenge you more, you do it, I challenge you more, you do it, okay? And you can continue if you want with this pre-teaching and say something like, when you hear a negative thing, when you hear something affirmative, when you hear a question, if you want to talk about grammar, when you hear a verb in past, yeah, you keep playing with the activity. The idea is that you can do this with whatever you want. And look at the activity. This is the real activity. It says, read and listen to conversation 5. Underline the correct answer. You see, the activity is totally different. 2 things have happened. Now I have a student with a better self-esteem, more self-confidence, and I have students ready to do this listening. Because I have used words from the same activity. And if you do it in class, you have tools. For example, in the Presentation Plus, in the ebooks that your students get, you have tools like this, in which you can play the audio at normal speed. Have you seen that? It's right here. You can play the audio at normal speed, or this student can say, "Está muy rápido." So, okay, play it at slow, or play it fast. You challenge yourself. You see? There's always that. In my opinion, the theory of flow is this box that you can put at any level of the Common European Framework. Do not think that, es que estos chicos son de tercero bachillerato. Y ellos van a dar B2. Okay. Thank you and congratulations. But in that group, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, or more students that don't have the level. And for them, you need to apply this principle. With anything. There's a lot of activities that say, fill in the blanks with the correct form of the verb. And students have to choose between affirmative or negative. Yes? Or third person or the others. But maybe starting with something like this, and just having, instead of saying, but listen to this very clear, it says, use the correct form of the verb in the blank. Instead of that directly, I can make my activity easier and tell my students, let's recognize. Okay? So, is this positive or negative? Everybody will say positive. Now, of course, But everybody understands what we're asking for here. So, positive or negative?
Positive.
Everybody!
Positive.
This one! Negative. You see, just recognizing what am I doing? I want you to feel comfortable. I want to work on your self-esteem so it grows a bit. Yes? And we continue. Positive or negative?
Positive.
Again. Negative. What's this? Positive. This. Positive. You see, I'm not talking about third person or anything. Positive or negative? Yeah? Negative. Positive. And of course the student starts thinking and reflecting. If it has the word not or an apostrophe T, it's negative. If it doesn't, it's affirmative. Period. And then comes this one. And the student here like, tampoco abuse, profesor. Good opportunity to explain that never makes a sentence negative. I never do something negative. Yes? What am I going to do? I'm just preparing my students and I'm going to this part so we can start by doing this activity. Yes? And I want you to see and understand that we can do this with any teachers, anything in the classroom. It's just a matter of creating. When we are not answer keys, human answer keys anymore, we can even apply this in exam preparation. Yeah? For example, Cambridge English, this is B2 first. Yes? This is a lesson plan, and there's use of English there. You see, when my partners start walking down the aisle, that means, ya se te acaba el tiempo. Ya, has hablado mucho. That's how they treat me at Cambridge. So, this is Cambridge English first. Can I take 5 more minutes?
Yeah.
You okay with that?
Yeah.
Ustedes no quieren salir. They're in flow right now. Do you feel this is interesting?
Yeah.
Are you connected?
Yeah.
Welcome to the flow. You see? That's what we're talking about. And that has a lot to do with the teacher walking around, with the teacher making the class friendly, psychologically friendly, brainly friendly. Yes? Important. Alright? So, this last activity for you to see. One of the papers of B2 first is reading and use of English, which nobody likes. Yes? People like this a little more than the listening. When I say, did you take your B2? Yes. How was it? Okay, the listening was hard. Always. Because it's British. Yeah? I just want you to see one of the activities. Of course, in the pre-teaching, you tell your students that the first part of reading and use of English is, an article, a little article with blanks. Yes? Feel free to take a picture, please, because it's going to disappear in a minute. Yeah? Take a picture, because you're going to do something with this one. Ready? I said take a picture of that, not of me. I feel free, no?